there, it's Jen, and I just wanted to bring you a quick little layout share. I mentioned in a previous video that I was taking my Felicity Jane kits, my January and February kits, to a crop that I was going to. Not really a crop, but like a get-together with some local friends. And so I just wanted to show you the two layouts that I created for that. I'm going to move them aside so that you can see. So like I said, I mixed together my January and February Felicity Jane kits, and so this is just a mishmash of whatever I had there. But I will go through kind of what I did and my process for each layout. So this layout is about my little cousin Hannah, who's just 9 months older than my daughter. She has cancer, and she was getting a bone marrow transplant, and everybody sent her photos of encouragement, and so this is our family photo of encouragement for her. You can see in the photo that it says, "We love you, Hannah, you got this," and just so I wanted to document that, and so the title of my layout is "You Got This," and I use those cute alphabets, I love these alphabets, and they're nice and sticky. They're chipboard, but they're not like thickers. They stick nicely. So this layout was quite an adventure. So I started on this background paper, which is this kind of grid background. On the back of this paper is a pretty floral, and I wanted to paint on it, and I knew I was going to use this floral paper, so I kind of decided on a color scheme of this kind of aqua color that's in my daughter's dress, and then I added a little bit of pink and yellow. And so I painted this on the background just with some watercolors and a big brush. I just painted 3 little kind of swishes of watercolor, and my paper crinkled up like a lot, and so I was going to mount it to a piece of cardstock, so I cut it down on the sides a little bit, put it on the cardstock. It was completely crooked. I tried to pull it up, I crinkled it, I tore it, and it was a hot mess. So I thought I was going to just start over, but instead what I did was I went with the crinkly. You can see when I hold this that this paper, you can see that it's torn and crinkled up. I decided after I threw it in the garbage, I pulled it back out, I crumpled it up a little bit, I crinkled it, and then I stuck it down, I cut it down and stuck it on the page, and I really, really love the way that it turned out. So sometimes a hot mess can turn into a happy accident, which is what it did in this case. And then for my background for the layers, I used some of the pieces from a cut apart sheet. So this little today, this little one with the heart, these stripes, I think this one as well. Yeah, these are all from a cut apart sheet, and so I just kind of layered them up behind the photo. This polka dot paper is the back side of this floral paper, and so I just put a few pieces of that in as well, and I just kind of layered everything up behind the photo until it had kind of a nice weight to it and some good layering going on. And this is something that's really great to do with scraps. In fact, this whole layout would be great to do with scraps. And it's something that I talk about, putting papers together and that kind of thing, in my Zap Your Scraps class, which if you haven't checked it out, I'll leave a link in the video description below. It's been a very popular class, and people are telling me how much that they love it, which makes me just happy. But it's been a fun class to work on, and a great way to use up some of your scraps. So if you're interested in that, I'll leave a link below. But the other thing that I did was I cut up the gorgeous floral pattern paper that's on this kind of green color, which is just like a heavier saturated tone of this light minty green color, which is perfect. I love that color. It's so pretty. And so I just decided to cluster the florals all on one side, and these would be great to color in, but because I wanted to use some colors in my layers and stuff, I decided to just leave them white, and I really like the way that ended up looking. And you can see how much dimension that they add. I put foam dots behind some of it, but I left a lot of it just open and flowy because you don't need to adhere every little piece down. It's okay if it kind of just moves around a little bit, and so I really liked the way that ended up looking. This little grateful tab and this little border sticker and this as well are all from a cut apart sheet, and I can't remember if they're from the same kit or from 2 different ones, but I decided to include these 2 specifically because of this word today, and I wanted to get that same saturation of the kind of soft black, and so you can see it here, here, and here. And then I brought it over to the side a little bit more saturated. These are some Tim Holtz tiny word stickers that I use quite often. I'll leave a link with, or I'll leave like a product list in the video description if I can remember to. But I just put some above and below, and it says XOXO, the best is yet to come, and have hope. And I stamped the date with my Ellie Studio dated stamp, which is my favorite. And then I stamped 2 words. Now I used stamps from various Felicity Jane kits. I actually borrowed from Jana Eubank. We were at her house. And so I'm not exactly sure. I can't remember which ones they come from, but I stamped Love You the Most a little bit on a curve here, and then the word grateful in this little tab. And then I just added a couple of, this little puffy heart is from a past Felicity Jane kit, and then there's an epoxy heart here from a Felicity Jane kit, and then this little heart is actually from some Studio Calico puffy stickers, but I liked having 3 little hearts, and then I just wrote my journaling down here below and mounted it all on some white cardstock. I added a few staples here and here, and then I also did a little white outline on my photo. It's not very noticeable, but I kind of like the way that it looks, and it kind of lends to the, we're standing in front of our chalkboard, so it kind of lends to that chalky feel, which I like. So that is the first layout that I created. And you know how when you're with other people, you don't create very many. I had big plans of getting 20 layouts done. Not really, but I only created 2, and that's okay. So this is the second layout that I created, and this one had potential to be really awesome and for me to really love it. But it went a little awry. It's a little crooked, and that's okay. I'm going with it, and it's fine with me. But I really wanted to use my new stamps from Studio Calico, which are these large letter stamps. But everything else comes from the Felicity Jane kits, barring this little sticker that's from the Believe Story kit from Allie Edwards. And this little stamp, these two stamp sets, because this stamp set's that same dated stamp set from Ellie Studio, which I love. So I have a little puffy sticker here. That's actually from Ellie Studio too. See, I'm laying all over the place. But all of the papers and this little chipboard piece that says amazing, and these little floral pieces, and this, they're all from Felicity Jane. So what I did was I stamped my title. There wasn't, the reason that this puffy sticker is here is because I didn't plan it out ahead of time, and it wasn't quite centered. And so, but I think that works because there's a little heart between the words Felicity and Jane in the logo. So this is a layout about me going to visit the new Felicity Jane headquarters when they had just moved into this office space. And Gina, my friend, is the owner of Felicity Jane. So I just want to talk about how cool it was that she has this company, and it's growing, and it's wonderful. And so I stamped out the title, and then I added that in to kind of fill in the space, but also to make it kind of look like the logo. And then I added 2 little heart stamps as well, just in these 2 places to add in a couple more hearts. Embellishing on the diagonal was a good idea here for me, I think, and I like the way that these little floral pieces ended up working on the corners, and there's little flowers in this little striped container here, which I think kind of, it brings it all together. So this is a little tag from a cut apart sheet, a bow from a cut apart sheet, which I put up on foam, and then this little notes is a cut apart card from the 3x4 cut apart sheet, and then this little label is from some labels that were die cut, and so I just wrote my journaling there. And this is completely crooked. I don't know if you can really tell, but it is, and I couldn't get it off, and it frustrates me, but I'm just leaving it because I am. And so these are border strips are from one of the Felicity Jane papers, and I had 2 of the paper, and so I cut the branding strip off of both of them and made kind of a column for all of my stuff to live in, which I think turned out pretty cute. So I'm happy overall with the way this layout turned out, just a little bit frustrated with the crookedness of it. So those are the 2 layouts I created. Again, not a ton, but you know, I was happy to use some of my supplies from the January and February kits, and I can't wait to dig into the March kit, which I might add to my January and February kits too, just to so I can keep using up some of those cute little goodies. But I hope that you have enjoyed this layout share. I will be back again soon with a process video, and thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, just leave me a comment in the video description. We'll see you soon.